It's a bird. It's a plane.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to The Krypton Report.
Welcome to The Krypton Report, the All Things Kryptonian podcast, where we talk about anything relating to Superman, Supergirl, Krypton, DC Comics, and TV, movies, video games, comics. I am your host, Tyler, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow. All right, it's that time for the Krypton Report. Now, I'm just going to cut Chase to it. I've been sick, and my voice is leaving me. And if you hear me dip off, it's because I'm coughing. And good thing is, I don't have COVID. I've been tested several times. So, I had to call upon the man of muscle, not Flex Mentallo, oh no, but James Cole. Welcome, James. So, yeah, that was my little segue, news. Doom Patrol. Thursday, dude, was my DC day. Because I hadn't, so Thursday, of course, the wife and I watched Titans. And then we watched the first episode of Doom Patrol. And then we went about our day. And then kids came home, watched Stargirl.
Gotta be quiet.
So my kids came home, watched Stargirl, and then at night, watched the rest of Doom Patrol. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, so Doom Patrol is back. Stargirl is at its halfway point, where if they were doing a season break, and this is where it would be. It had an awesome fight in the last episode. Let's see here. Any other real big newsworthy notes here? We got images behind the scenes of Batwoman, and we got Peacemaker images. And of course, yep. And we found out that the score for Batgirl is being written by the composer. She did Loki. So that's cool. Mm-hmm. And let's see. I did, but I don't really remember the score. And usually I do. So man, life keeps you back. So, if any listeners know anything from Batman on film, you'll know that they don't report rumors and stuff, and Jet's really, Bill Jet Rainey is really big on the truth, and he's already pointing out that there's, they haven't announced it yet, but it looks like The Batman has already been greenlit for a sequel. So I thought that was very interesting. Check out their website and Twitter for more on that. And then the last thing is it looks that the Sasha Calle Supergirl is going to have her own HBO Max series instead of a movie. Thoughts?
Well, just
Yep.
have
Right. Exactly. That's why I'm just like, I'm like, okay, like I haven't seen her, and of course I'll watch at least the pilot. I mean, that's what we always do. Woo. So it's just interesting because we're talking about how sometimes we like struggle to keep up with everything, and now with the way things are going, we're gonna have a like we talk Titan somewhat, and it's got Superboy on it, so we try to check back in, and I guess there's supposed to be another more Superboy episode later in the season. But man, if we have we're Supergirl's ending in November, and then it could be potentially 2023 maybe when this Supergirl show debuts. So it'd be just another show. Yeah, but it's November? I mean, if it is, I mean, Flash. Well, Flash is coming out November 2023 or November 2022.
so
So just more content for the show and more content for our friends over at Supergirl Radio because they'd have a new Supergirl to talk about.
I'm checking out.
I mean, the other part of that rumor is that Michael Keaton's Batman might be on the show, so we'll see. We'll see. But all right, man, let's talk about Supergirl. We just had season 6, episode 12, Blind Spots.
Yeah. So this episode, we open up around build us. But us.
So this episode I liked in some parts, right? But in others I didn't, because I liked the Kelly being like on the ground, like, and the way, like, yes, and her tactics reminds me a little bit of like Green Arrow in the Justice League animated series, Justice League Unlimited. Yes, exactly. And I could see Kelly starting her own team of more ground level heroes. And I think that would be kind of cool. I mean, that's a spinoff that, to me, I think would be more interesting than what we've kind of had, because we have not really had anything discussed. So, I don't know. What do you think? Good listeners. So, but I liked Kelly and a lot of her points, but do you, I like that this is the Diggle crossover episode. So I like seeing Diggle back. I like seeing Diggle kick butt.
Yeah.
Did you? Everything else?
Yeah.
I mean, oh, dude, I was so
Well, I
pumped.
didn't laugh.
I haven't watched the Legends, and I want to, but that one, he's Bass Reeves, so that's pretty sweet. But the Batwoman one was pretty much a letdown. Yeah, it's pretty nice. So, did you notice how this is the one episode where Diggle wasn't talking about the voices, and where you didn't kind of hear the voices in his head?
No, actually. I'm sure I probably would have known more about that if I watched this first on Flash, right?
The first one
Was
was
it?
Batwoman.
Okay, maybe.
I think it was
Well, I don't know if I remember him saying
Bat-
that he spoke about that on that.
Batwoman, he just says like he's there for the hospital, something with his head, and you kind of hear like a fear of the sounds.
It's been a little while.
I like how James and Diggle are friends.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? James
Yeah.
and Diggle are friends. I'm like, I was trying to remember, like, did they hang out?
I mean,
on
not
Crossover?
that I recall it.
I know, but all right. So the Kelly story for this was really strong. I feel like had this not been a COVID like filmed episode, it would have been better. Just because I think some of the beats of this story would really lend a hand having more extras, like for the hospital and for the building rubble
Right.
and everything,
Which they normally would have had.
really right. So I was just like, okay, that kind of sucks. And man, do I hate the politician lady.
Well, at least she gets hers in this
I hate
episode.
Yeah, she does. And I just hate people like that, period. And like, because I was trying to figure out, like, she had the fifth dimensional energy, like she was pulling it out of other people or siphoning their energy off of them. I was trying to remember, and then like I was trying to figure out what her powers were doing.
Well, I mean, she was basically doing whatever she wanted, but I mean, she's a person with fifth dimensional energy. Like, I'm guessing that just drawing it from where it is in people, it's siphoning their life in with it. I mean, she was a horrible person before, and this episode just made her even worse. You know, all she cares about is getting that company in. She has no care that the building's gone and all this housing is gone. All she cares about is getting the company in. She's using her magic to bring money out of thin air to buy the votes her way. I mean, heck, she's even doing a press conference, and you know nothing even happens, and one of her bodyguards attacks Orlando. Like he didn't go after her or anything. Bodyguard whips out his freaking stick and goes to attack him.
Now, here's my question about Orlando. He's an alien with abilities. That's never come up since he's been let out of prison. And wouldn't he have powers to be able to help with like the rubble on everybody?
What were his powers? I can't remember what his powers in that episode. I was trying to think about it, but I couldn't recall.
Right, and because I also kept thinking to myself, like, it's kind of weird to me that they go to the hospital and she's like, "Here, help this child," to this nurse, but she's not like, "This child's an alien." Because like that would be a pretty big thing to know if you're going to treat a patient.
Oh yeah, biology be different. Like, you know, something that you give a person could kill the alien.
Exactly. And I'm like, did they forget that in the writer's room? Like, oh yeah, Orlando and his brothers are aliens. I was a little confused at one point when they did the backup, the 24 hours of when Kelly was on the phone and it was showing Supergirl and them fighting the giant cat. I'm like, did that line up times?
No, I think it was a news report that was only covering Supergirl. That was not even covering building collapse. I think that's what the focus was.
Well, I mean,
is nobody's even seeing what's happening. That's part of that's what Kelly's story is all about. Is even her friends and her super friends and her fiance, they're not seeing what's happening. You know, like it sounds like you said, like they almost forgot about it in the writer's room that Orlando and his brother are aliens because it never comes up. It hasn't come up since the episode they were introduced. It's almost if they introduced them as aliens and now it's like transition into this corrupt political and racist message.
Yeah,
or racism.
And I guess I think it's kind of weird when you're dealing with like the whole they're alien and they're African American. Right. It's like what are their aliens? Because like we know that some aliens choose their form. Some aliens.
Well, like the bartender at the alien bar, he was black too.
Mm-hmm. You know, because there's a whole thing about Jean saying that he chose this face and everything, and that's great story. But my thing is like when they deal with like it's like adding on, like it's not only racist but they're also alien. So, because you know, I don't know, it's just kind of like different, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the words, but trying not to cough too. So,
well, you know, trying to sift through Supergirl's message that they push each episode to get to the characters and the continuity and stuff. It almost seems like that's become a background part of the show. It's character story, the continuity. It's the second thing that they're worried about, or one of the last things they're worried about in the writer, getting the message across.
I'm trying to remember. There's a term, and I'm going to kick myself. And I'm sorry, dear listeners, because it is late and I have been real sick. But it's like your defining characteristic. It's like the one characteristic or demographic about you that is always said first. For example, it's a crudish example, but like if you have two friends named Mike and one's white and one's black, sometimes you hear, "Oh, that's white Mike," you know, whatever. So my thought for bringing that up is Orlando's characteristic, his defining characteristic, he's African American, or is it he's an alien? Because I feel like through all this whole series, it's always like alien first, then whatever else comes under their bar.
Yeah.
So.
It has been it has used the alien as that message, but now it's almost like bringing it down.
Which makes me wonder, why not just make Orlando an alien instead of just making.
How else are you going to get him out of prison though? But being a mishandle.
Oh man, maybe he had skills, man. Like
right? He's an engineer.
Who knows? We could have figured something out in the writer's room. But so I mean, I really like Kelly's story, and I like that she tries to vent to James, and I feel like her guardian story is so much stronger than James's.
I think so as well.
I feel a real reason. James's just feels like all my friends are superheroes. I have to do something too.
Yeah.
Kelly's feels like it comes from a more organic place. And then we got the, I had a chuckle when she shows up and she's like, "I'm a friend of Kelly Olsen's." I'm like, really? You have a lot of the similar facial features from what I can tell from that mask.
Yeah. She's just doing her own Batman voice.
I'm like, wow, you wear makeup similar to Kelly and you have the same mole and your eyes. Yeah. Sure, you're a friend
right.
of Kelly Olsen's.
You just go with it. Like, yeah,
but
okay. I hear you.
You know what her real superpower was?
What's that? Her hair?
Her hair. Yeah. She puts that helmet on, she turns into Guardian, all of a sudden it's all braided. And like, because there's that one scene where she has her suit on but her helmet off and she's in the tower and her hair's back to being the regular straight. I'm just like, yeah, I want to see her change into Guardian and that hair just like magically just move itself. Like
she puts on the helmet and just like shoots out the bottom of the helmet. Like,
yep.
Exposes it's like her Predator braids. That big old helmet on. What did you think of her suit? What did you think of the update to her suit?
It looks a lot better.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad the color scheme is what it should be. The blue and the gold. It looks a lot better. And I like how it was organic in nature. She wore the helmet and she went out there to chase her. Yeah. The helmet wasn't made for her. Sights were wrong. They even showed it inside of the helmet through the eye holes. That it was.
Oh, when she uses James's actual gear.
Yeah, that it was obstructing her view. So, and then Brainy is basically, Michael Goff, Alfred, where he's already got a suit prepped and ready for her.
He's like, Sprocket, what happened here? I realize how much I like the look now of Brainy, and like even when he's green, and like I like Brainy's suit compared to like when he first showed up in that like white ugly wig. Like that was rough, man. But I do think it's interesting, like how grounded the battle for Kelly as Guardian is, but yet the person that she's fighting has fifth dimensional powers. Like, not even superpowers, fifth dimensional powers. Like, her villain goes up a notch from a supervillain to, like, crazy.
Yeah. The fifth dimension. it's a reality consciousness imagination.
Yeah, it could be like there's a whole thing about like how Mixus Pickle. Don't say these words when you're sick, kids. Mixie is like the most powerful Superman antagonist. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, like Mixie can go up against like the biggest, baddest characters that they've ever fought against. Mixie can go head to head. Try.
I want to see Mixie fight
go head to head with Darkseid. Like
that's the movie I want to see. Zack Snyder's Mixus Pickle versus Darkseid.
That would just be insane. Like
it's like Mixie's fighting, and you're like, "Am I on? Is this what being on drugs is like?" And then the guy next to you is on drugs, just like, dude,
right? I don't know if this is the movie or if this is something I took for them. Man,
has the movie started yet, bro? Because I don't know if anything has changed for me since I left the house. It's like, all right, man, chill. But yeah, it was a good episode. I liked it for the change of pace. I feel like I just hate that I feel like they're getting this is the kind of storyline I feel like we should have gotten sooner, and could have been something like I said that would have been a more interesting kind of spin-offish thing to have done. But you know, we're wrapping it up right now.
You know, I mean, going to this level for the final season. I think even with the COVID, you know, what they've had to with the workarounds they've had to do, I think that they've stepped up their production, you know, the quality of the episodes, special effects. There's some improvements made because it's the final season.
I feel like they're finding their way to better. Like they saved their budget.
They're I think they're finding their way to hope they have. I hope they have a good plan in place, story wise.
So, any other final thoughts on this episode? And we'll just kind of cut it a little short since I'm not feeling well. Good listeners, I can't talk as much as I usually do.
No, it's I enjoyed this episode, and Kelly by far standout performance of the episode. It's all about her, and she brought her game. It's good. All the way to the end, you know, all the way to the very end. She's talking with Alex, and she just lays her head down on Alex's chest, on her arm.
Oh yeah, just showing how she's overwhelmed.
And you know, it was nice to see a character like a politician. if only it happened. If only it happened often.
Yeah. That's why I love going back and reading Golden Age Superman, where he's like, "You crooked guy!"
Right?
Punches him.
Yeah, he didn't take no crap, man.
It's like even Action Comics, New 52, Action Comics #1, similar beat. But all right, good listeners, remember,